this edition of Newsleader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, local businessman Eugene London has joined the Tullahoma mayoral race. Area nursing homes are once again allowing visitors, and we speak to one of the organizers of the We Will Breathe Tullahoma group. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Hello, I'm Ray Noes. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. And this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
Welcome back. Tullahoma businessman Eugene London Jr. has announced that he's going to be a candidate, a write-in candidate for Tullahoma's mayor, joining other candidates, Carl Smithson and Alderman Ray Noes and Daniel Berry. Because of the late entry to the race, London's name will not be on the ballot, but any votes cast for him in the election will be counted by the Coffee County Election Commission. London said, quote, "The people are really running me for this race. I was happy to be drafted by the people of Tullahoma. Our town does not need to go backwards. We need to go forward. I just think Tullahoma needs other options." London specifically referenced several tweets from 2017 of Alderman Daniel Berry that came out last week calling for Black Lives Matters to be designated a hate group, and several others that he felt were disturbing. Eugene said he's running because of the people who are asking him to take their voice to City Hall to make sure everyone has a voice. London added, "My focus is really on health, wealth, and education. Tullahoma's in great shape economically. Lane Curley has done a good job of putting us on a great economic trajectory. My focus would be trying to figure out how to bring some clean manufacturing jobs to Tullahoma. I want to make sure people have access to the tools that are necessary in order to build wealth and retain wealth. There's no reason why our town, being a very, very high-tech town, why we don't have camera systems in different places. I want to employ the community to help with policing, all the things that are going on in our country, and Tullahoma can be an example to this nation on how to do things the right way." Look for several episodes of our new show, Insight, which will feature John Gray speaking to local candidates for office in Tullahoma. Girl Scout Troop 2163 of Tullahoma will be holding a flag retirement ceremony Tuesday, June the 23rd, to properly retire American flags in honor of Flag Day. Troop leader Greg Gressel said his group performs the civic activity 2 to 3 times a year, with one of these service days being around Memorial Day and Flag Day. Gressel said, quote, "All American flags should be properly retired with dignity and respect. end quote. Gressel said anyone with an American flag that wants to retire the flag can drop off their flag at any door of South Jackson Civic Center or First Church of the Nazarene by June the 20th. We'll be right back in just a moment with more Newsleader on 6.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we pack. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. And I grow and get bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash jumping up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back. Newsleader's Philip Scoggins spoke with one of the We Will Breathe Tullahoma protest organizers, O'Shea Keith, about the recent march in Tullahoma and future plans for the group. We asked her what moved her to this action.
What really got me involved with the organization, it sounds funny, but after watching the George Floyd, the video, that was going all over, I contacted a couple of my friends and, we were talking about it, and I was going to be one of the mad people out on the sidewalks with a sign, just saying, hey, we see this and we're hurt and we're mad. But it was like in that moment I realized, why would I be mad out in Tullahoma when this happened in Minnesota? And so, I kind of sat back for a little while. Me and, one other friend, Juliana Burns, we kind of went back and forth, and we were talking about how we wanted to do, I was telling her I wanted to do it the right way. We didn't know exactly what the right way was, but we knew that we didn't want to be, get out on the sidewalks and then instantly shut down, by police because we were, I guess, unauthorized to, protest. And so within that time, we ended up, it was me, Juliana Burns, and then we added along Royce Massengale, and then David Clark, and then Gwendolyn Carr, and then my godfather, Steve Berry, then got added to the group chat. And that's how we became the We Will Breathe Tullahoma organizers.
So tell me, in your opinion, how you thought Saturday's event went.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It went well. It went just as we had hoped it would go. There was, a couple of things that we were worried about. There was people with negative, comments. And so we were worried that they were going to come and try to, break the peace. We were also worried about within the first 8 minutes and 46 seconds of the march, we were worried we wasn't going to be able to keep a big crowd quiet. And being that we did that, I mean, that in itself was amazing. It shows that people heard me, because I brought that idea to the group. And the group was like, there's no way you're going to be able to get that done. And so with that right there, it showed that my voice was heard, that people were listening.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was there, and I thought it went great too. And
yes,
it was well organized. I was impressed that you guys threw that together that quickly too.
Yes, thank you. I mean, it was from sometimes 5:30 in the morning until almost 1 o'clock, in the morning. We were, texting and messaging back and forth, phone calls, and it went so well because we only met up in person once. And that was the day of the Franklin County March. And so, I thought it went, at first I was like, this is not going to work out, because we were throwing ideas even down to the last, hour. We were throwing in different ideas. And I mean, it all just went smooth as butter.
Well, so what is there plans for another event in the future sometime? Or I know that there was talk about things in advance. What have y'all got anything ironed out about those yet?
We are currently we're pitching ideas to each other, but we want to do things like the blacktop behind Jefferson Street Park. We caught wind that like it's falling apart. We want to get the community together and fix that. Things like, I'm hearing that in some of the apartment complexes, some apartments have, the central heating and air, some don't. Some have bad plumbing issues, so right now we're working on cleaning up Tullahoma. We saw how well Tullahoma came together, so we're hoping that Tullahoma will back us up again and help us, put these small projects together and complete them.
Okay. Well, if people are wanting to get involved and to do things to help out, how can they get in touch with you or somebody in the organization to do that?
They can reach out. My Facebook is, open. They can reach out through my Facebook, also through Steve Berry, Royce Massengale, Juliana Burns, Gwendolyn Carr, and David Clark. And Terrence Owens as well. That's all that's right there in the group that helped organize it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to me tonight. And,
yes, sir.
And I hope things go well for you in the future with this.
I hope so, too. I want to make it a better place. I saw how well we were able to come together, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one!
Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
Welcome back. Nursing home facilities in Tennessee have just started reopening their doors to visitors since closing in March. Governor Bill Lee recently spoke to Tennesseans about what is happening to make this possible.
Our nursing homes and our long-term care facilities have been closed to outside visitors since March. This measure has been necessary in order to protect the most vulnerable of our citizens, the elderly, and for whom this virus has been particularly cruel. At the same time, it's created a tremendous hardship for those residents and for their family members because they've been unable to visit with one another, friends and family, for almost 3 months. Every nursing home and long-term care facility resident will have been tested by this Friday, and we have been working with, and I'm very grateful to the nursing home and long-term care facility industry for working with our health department to not only get the testing done of the residents, but to ensure that we have a process for repeat testing for staff members in those facilities all across the state. Our Unified Command Group has worked very closely with this industry to take the steps necessary to provide safety for the most vulnerable in our community. But today I signed an executive order that will allow these facilities to again open their doors to visitors starting on Monday, June the 15th. We've set expectations that specific safety protocols will be followed, because while we want to provide for an opportunity for visitation and for family members to once again reconnect with their loved ones in long-term care facilities, we can't ignore the fact that these are our most vulnerable citizens, and so there will be strict safety protocols put in place. At the same time, we do want to open up those facilities for visitation. Dr. Piercy is going to give more information about what safe visitation actually looks like in a few minutes when she gives her report. And if you are planning to visit your loved ones in a nursing home, I encourage you to show grace to those facilities who are having to make dramatic changes in a very short period of time, because we wanted to make sure that folks could have access to their loved ones, but we're grateful for the hard work that those facilities are doing. This is one of our most vulnerable populations, and we all have to work together to make sure that we protect them. If you are going to visit as well, get a test. You know, testing, and I'll say this over and over again, testing not only provides you information about your own health, but it actually provides the state with information that understands where cases are and therefore where spread happens, and it really provides protection for your neighbors as well when you get a test. So particularly if you're going to go back into a nursing home facility, please get a test. Individuals have taken advantage of voluntary free testing throughout this pandemic. We have worked really hard to make testing widely available because we know that that's one of the most important things that we can do to fight this virus.
Tennessee Health Commissioner Dr. Lisa Piercy elaborated on nursing home visitation.
It is the most vulnerable population. The devastation that occurs when one of these individuals, a resident in a nursing home or a long-term care facility, gets infected is incredibly critical, and it's absolutely much worse than if those in the general population do. And so restrictions are important, but social and emotional well-being is also incredibly important. As he mentioned, the last few of the long-term care facilities are being tested this week, and so that will complete all of the testing statewide. And then beginning no later than July 1st, and some facilities have already done it, then the staff will begin weekly retesting in nursing homes on a forward-going basis. As I mentioned, our top priority is safety of both the residents and the staff, but we want to balance that with their social, emotional, and psychological well-being. So we are announcing the opening next week of limited visitation. Facilities will have to meet some requirements to do this. They will be located in counties with lower disease burdens. They have to agree to meet the prerequisites that are defined by our guidance and agree to the restrictions and screening protocols of those that come to visit. We are going to be allowing 3 options for visiting. One is outdoor visitation with proper distancing. Another is indoor or outdoor visitation with a visitation booth. Most commonly, that's with a plexiglass barrier. And then finally, there are some very limited yet available options for in-room visitation, because we do understand that there are some residents that aren't able to physically tolerate the other 2 options. So you'll see that guidance forthcoming pretty soon for facilities. I will reiterate exactly what the governor said is, please give these facilities some grace. They have been under very strict restrictions for the last several months, and it's going to take them several days or perhaps longer to be able to comply with our strict guidelines. And I do acknowledge that these are quite restrictive, but that's okay, because we need to be able to do everything we can to protect this most vulnerable population while allowing for their social and emotional well-being. Secondly, I also want to reiterate his comments about we have seen a slight uptick in our case count. This is not unexpected. People are moving about, and we knew this was going to happen, but we're watching it very closely. Fortunately, our hospital resources are stable and are forecasted to do so. And we are in continual conversations with the Tennessee Hospital Association and many of our providers statewide just to make sure we have good eyes on what those resources are. As a reminder, just because we're moving forward, don't forget the basic tenets. Distance yourself, stay at home if you're sick, wash your hands, and wear your cloth face coverings. And finally, I just want to reiterate our continued focused efforts on communities of color. I appreciate Assistant Commissioner Dr. Kimberly Lamar, whom you heard from earlier, as she explained our efforts to increase and expand access to testing as well as wraparound services. Our department continues to engage in culturally appropriate manner, and our commitment to confronting racism and eliminating disparities is not just a focus during this pandemic, but it's for the long haul. Thank you.
More news is coming up in just a moment.
I'm Philip Bourne, STEM and Dept Detail Shop Manager. Here are a few things our customers have to say about our service.
What I love most about the Stem McNabb Detail Shop is there's someone local that I can trust to pick up my car, have it cleaned, and deliver it back to me in showroom condition.
What really amazed me is when he opened the hood and looked like he had taken the old engine out and put a new engine inside.
We have several different packages and individual services to get your vehicle looking like new again. We're located just behind Stem McNabb Chevrolet dealership. Call today, schedule an appointment, and see what the difference our detail can make.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the 2 of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Welcome back. Governor Lee also spoke with about Tennessee's plans for economic recovery amid the continuing pandemic.
I have a lot of optimism about a lot of things in our state. We are in a process of transformation, and that's a good thing. And one of the things that is happening right now is our economy has been opened back up and is beginning to recover. And our economic recovery group has been tracking recovery, and part of the way they do that is by communicating with businesses across the state. So they survey a number of businesses about what's actually happening in their companies and with their employees to try to gauge and understand just what's happening on the ground in our economy. The Economic Recovery Group fielded a survey, and they shared some of the highlights of those, and I'll just give you a couple of points that were encouraging. They asked businesses if they have been unable to generate revenue. Are you currently unable to generate revenue? And the businesses that report that they were unable to generate revenue dropped in a 1 month period, because we've done this survey twice, dropped from 27% of those reporting a month ago that they could not generate revenue to 12% today. That's movement in the right direction. Many more of our companies are back in business and generating revenue and beginning the process of providing opportunities for jobs for folks. The percentage of businesses that are reporting no layoffs or furloughs has increased this month to 64%. So 64% of the over 6,000 businesses that responded to our survey said that they were reporting no layoffs or furloughs. So our unemployment numbers are improving. It's very challenging, as we all know. Many Tennesseans are out of work, and that's been a difficult situation for sure, but we're moving in the right direction, and that is very encouraging. Also, the majority of Tennessee businesses that were surveyed said they knew about the Tennessee Pledge and they were able to comply with it. That was encouraging. We remain encouraged that in spite of this tremendous health crisis and economic crisis, we have better days ahead for us as a state, and encouraged by that economic report.
There are $3,700 worth of rewards being offered in Grundy County for anyone who has information on who killed several cows there. According to Grundy County Sheriff Clint Schrum, the cows were killed with a crossbow. The cows were located on Johnny Parsons Road. The owner of the cattle put up a $1,000 reward, which was quickly raised $200 by a private donor, and Farm Bureau is offering an additional $2,500 for information that leads to a conviction. If you have information, you can contact Deputy Melanie McCormick or Sergeant Billy Harris at 931-692-3466. Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1936 at 101 degrees. Record low was in 1899 at 46 degrees. The average high on this day is 85, and the average low is 64. Mostly clear weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 60. Partly cloudy weather expected on Friday with a high of 83 and a low of 62. Mostly sunny weather in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 87 and a low of 65. And that's our Newsleader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.